We're reviewing Bates Motel, so it's got to be some creepy, dim lighting that's going to go on. So, Season 4, Bates Motel. And I just watched it earlier today. This is going to be a spoiler review of all 4 seasons if you haven't seen. Pretty much caught up to Bates Motel at this point, at the time of this recording, which is February 11th, about little under, about a week away from when Season 5 is going to premiere. And Season 4, this was, I kind of knew that Norma was going to die, which is the big part of this season. It's the biggest takeaway. I knew Norma was going to die. It had been spoiled to me. There was a YouTube video with a fucking thumbnail. And then I started to watch like a Comic-Con panel with the actors, and they said even before anything else, like spoilers, they're just like, we lost a favorite character in Season 4. So I was just like, oh fuck. I know what that means. But I knew this character was going to die since I watched Psycho. So it's not the end of the world. How she died, I will get into, but this season had a lot of ups. We had Dylan, Emma, their romance, great. She's coming off the surgery. That stuff with her mom, that was really good. Emma's mom was just fodder for Norman to kill and to show how psycho Norman is and how off the rails he is. We are really getting a kill count for this character. So it's kind of damned if you do, because it's unrealistic how many people he's killed in such a short amount of time without getting caught. And yet, despite the fact that he's almost about to talk about the fact that he's killed these characters. And despite that, Norman Bates is a really great character, and it would be kind of disheartening to know that before the events of Psycho he was just didn't kill anybody. Oh. So I don't know with Season 5 how big of a time skip we're gonna get. The promos seem to show him at like the same age. I know they can't really age him too much without just like way too much makeup or CGI or something like that. So in Psycho it was a very old mom, right? But we know this character, we know Norma. If we hear Norma's voice instead of this old woman, or if the other characters say, oh, there's some old woman in that house, I don't think we'll bat an eye. Norman himself, I think this was probably like his best season. This was the Norman show. And considering there's not many characters left, that's understandable. We see him in this psychiatric get-well place that costs a lot of money. He meets interesting characters there. He runs through what you think he would run through. I love the counseling psychological sessions with Dr. Edwards. If you watch something like Good Will Hunting, it's the best scenes in that film are therapy sessions. And I think therapy sessions are an amazing strategic form of storytelling, because it's 2 characters talking, which is the basis for all story, or just any characters talking, and they have to talk about something deep. They have to pry into each other. And I'm actually going to make a video about that later, so I don't want to give too much on that. But when 2 characters pry into each other and they get emotional, that's the best storytelling for me. And especially if they can change and develop, which Norman did. You see him kind of coming to terms with his sickness and developing past that. He's like, I know I'm sick, that's not the point. He's kind of evolving past that. In the end, he's feeling ripped away from his mother, and he wants to get his mother back. Whether that, we think, viciously, because he's mad at her, or just because he loves her. And I think it's a little bit of both. And then he gets betrayed by her, by marrying the Sheriff Romero. And Sheriff Romero He has a great, he does his usual thing of just being this hard-ass badass. Don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do it good. But fuck anything in my way of what I want. And the marriage between him and Norma, unexpected. It makes sense, and it wraps into the Psycho story. So I think we kind of predicted, like, oh, that's gonna be the end-all boyfriend for her that she's going to. And I think they introduced like some potential characters along the way, just in case the season had to wrap up or the show had to wrap up, and they had to say, "Oh, this is the boyfriend," to fit the narrative, right? But now we have an actual solid end boyfriend. Season 5, I'm sure Romero and Norman are gonna go head to head, life or death. It's gonna go down. And then we have the whole thing with Rihanna and her role, which is going to be interesting. And we're going to basically, I think, just recreate Psycho, but within our own Bates Motel universe in the modern times. So, I'm excited for that. I think that's a solid way to end the show. Norman doesn't come out on top in the end. I guess they could do more seasons with the sequels, but I haven't seen those, so I'm not like super... I don't really want that. Plus, they said I think this is going to be last season, which I'm fine with. I don't know if Norman should come on top in the end, because I think Norman is a sadistic character, and usually in the end, he finds a way to come out on top, and everyone else dies, and he just kind of sits back and observes like a creepy motherfucker. I don't think that's terrible, but I don't know if that's how it should actually end. Like, I don't think it's... This character, this Rihanna character, she's going to have a whole season to set up her character, right? So by the end, it might be like, hey, this is our triumphant final girl who's going to take out Norman. That might be okay, especially if she gets help from Romero. Romero, he's a hard character to say. I think that's fine. But I'm not gonna like it if she's just kind of like this final girl who like falls within the last 2 episodes and ends up defeating the great Norman. I mean, the original Psycho character didn't beat Norman, but she was ultimately his downfall. It all started with her. It's gonna be really anticlimactic if they introduce those throwaway characters that were at the end of Psycho. But there is like a psychological person now. Like at the end of Psycho, they had that guy who was like giving the analysis on Norman, which now we have an actual professional therapist. So I think that's going to be him who delivers the final dialogue, unless Norman has his final monologue or whatever. But I am stoked for that. Other things that happened in the season, we had the creepy guy with the window, chick. We had the last little bit of Caleb, I think we're going to get. Dylan moved. I think that's an interesting way to get him out of the story. I don't know if he's going to come back, hopefully. That's not a bad way to end his character arc, I guess. Him finding happiness with Emma. But, it's a little bit sour. I hope we get a little bit more with him. Like a final scene or something. I do hope, Chick, he's obviously going somewhere. Like, they wouldn't just have all this for nothing, so he's going to play a part, I'm sure. Hopefully that's interesting. I know a lot of this video is kind of speculation, but these are my thoughts going into Season 5. I hope you enjoy them. I don't know if I want to give this season a 7 or 8 out of 10. I'm going to go light 8. It was great. Bates Motel is heating up, man. I am interested to see where it goes within a couple days here. Hopefully I can get this video out on time, which I probably won't. But that's okay. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching as always, and with that, I leave you.